Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to our weekly Parshah Shia. This coming Shabbos is Parshah Tzav. Tzav includes the Parsha of terumat hadeshen, which means they used to take the ashes off the altar and clean it every morning. Talks about the sacrifice of the mincha that the Kohanim would bring, the Kohen Gadol. Talks about korbanos, chatos, and oshrom shlomim, toido. Talks about various sacrifices. Second part of the parsha speaks about the preparations that Moshe Rabbeinu made with Aharon, preparing Aharon and his children to become the servants of Hashem. And he took them to teach them the service, how to do the korbanos and whatnot. Okay. What is this whole Indian, this whole idea of korbanos, of sacrifices? What are the sacrifices for? So let's think about it. Rabbi Nachman has lesson 25 in Kutei Moharan. He speaks about sacrifices. Sacrifices are brought in the Beis HaMikdash. The Beis HaMikdash is really our minds. A house of sanctity, that's our minds. And we have to learn to sacrifice that which we want, that's what we desire, sacrifice it for the sake of having das, having a Beis HaMikdash, having a sanctuary, a sanctified place in our bodies. That's our minds. And the idea of the sacrifice is, well, I want this, I want that. I have all these different things that I feel I would like, all the enticements of this world. But is that what we are created for? To run after an enticement? It's nice to have something good. A good meal, a nice comfortable bed, a chair to sit down in. That's good, no problem. Right? Sacrifice is if I want too much, if I'm looking to overstep my budget, if I'm looking to overstep my boundaries, if I'm looking, God forbid, to do something that's illegal, immoral, or fattening. Right? That's already too much. That's right. Sacrifice means I have to do without. I have to sacrifice. In the temple, the Mishkan sanctuary, a person brought a sacrifice. He used to do what's called semikha. Semikha means he rests his hands upon the animal that's being sacrificed. The Arizal explains that when a person did that, he was actually transferring his animalistic desires, his base desires, to the animal, saying that these are not fit for human. It's not fit for me to have these kind of thoughts, entertain these thoughts, entertain these ideas, to actually do these kind of immoral acts. So I transfer it to the animal and I rid myself of it. That's an idea that the Arizal explains for the korbanos. Rabbi Nachman says you have to have these korbanos, these sacrifices, in order to get to the mind, the brain, the sanctuary that you have of God. Your mind could contain godliness. It could. All you have to do is sacrifice. What's the problem? The problem is the imagination. Like an animal, he imagines, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, this, right? Person who runs after the imagination is a person who's not in control of himself. Oh yeah, the imagination has a tremendous power. A person can imagine himself doing good things. He's done tremendous things with his imagination. But the imagination also lets a person run wild. The mind runs amok, and usually the results aren't so good. Right? Think good. Concentrate on good. Concentrate. You're not already so much in the imagination. Concentrate on the good, and it will be good. You'll be able to bring out the good that's within you. So Rabbi Nachman says the korbanos, the whole sacrifice, this whole idea is made for us to be able to conquer the imagination and use it for good. Because the imagination can do tremendous things. Imagine there was a fellow, Jules Verne. He wrote a book, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And this was before a submarine was ever invented. He imagined such a ship, but it's here. Submarines are available today. So are cars, right? Just 150 years ago, people were traveling only by horse and buggy. Oh, the train had just come out then, but horse and buggy. Today we have automobiles, trucks, right? It's amazing. Airplanes, right? All this came from the imagination. But we have to learn to control the imagination, use it positively, to use it in a way that we build a sanctuary, we build our minds with da'as, with knowledge, with consciousness, that we're willing to be aware of Hashem at any given moment. And with that, we'll be able to approach life and do things right, and be able to conquer our desires and be able to really get into life, to understand and be aware of everything that's going on around us, to be consciously aware. That's a great thing. With that, we need the korbanos, we need the sacrifice. In Yetz Hashem, we will all be zoicha next week, next Wednesday night, next Wednesday afternoon actually, to bring the Korban Pesach, this Paschal lamb, and we'll make the first sacrifice that we can for Hashem. Amen v'amen.